Welcome back to another episode of Baseball Night. I'm your host, Tom Brown, joined as always by my brother, Bruce Valanche. It is Friday, May 17th, and Jack. It's not really Bruce Valanche, but it's my brother, Jack. Jack,
Yeah, I'm
the
not
May
crazy about that
struggles,
running joke.
the May struggles have continued for the Red Sox, who are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 and 9 in the month of May. And they just lost 3 out of 4 to the Rays, making their record right now 1-7 against the AL East. That's only 2 series, I know. And they haven't played the Blue Jays, who have struggled. But the other 2 teams are, as they say, a problem in the Yankees and Orioles, and they got swept by the Orioles. So this is a concerning trend right now.
I definitely agree. The games they lost to the Braves too were real heartbreakers. 1 2-run games that were close late, and they had an opportunity to win. They strike out a lot. They strike out maybe too much.
I would say too much.
And when it, like you said, in my pick to win the AL East, the Toronto Blue Jays are the only team under 500 in the division. So they have struggled and they haven't played them. But the Yankees, Rays, and Orioles are all very legit teams. And we've talked about it a million times on the podcast before. It's great that they don't have to play each team 19 times anymore, or else you'd really see that play out. But yeah, when they go up against the Orioles and the Yankees, and I know we're going to talk about the Yankees a little later, they are legitimately overmatched at almost every position. Like
Yeah.
I mean, in every position.
You can say the same with the Orioles, especially it's
I
so
was
forgotten.
including the Orioles in that, yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's not forgotten. I shouldn't say that, but Corbin Burns is there. They completely changed around the ace of their staff. So
the other thing too about the Orioles, and I know we're kind of still on the Red Sox, but as it relates to their pitching staff, Grayson Rodriguez is hurt right now, but he is having a stellar early start to the year too. You can see future ace on that dude all over him. But yeah, the AL East is tough. We knew it's the AL Beast, Tom. We knew that. Quite possibly the best division in baseball. I would say that's probably fair.
yeah, top heavy wise, you
NL East,
got a
maybe?
battle in the NL Beast because the Phillies are just still on a roll.
Well, Tom, there's been a lot of argument about the Phillies. They've only played 3 games against a team above 500.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, the Phillies right now have a really Charmin schedule, real Charmin job on their schedule. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That's something that we have had problems with the Red Sox in the past.
Sure. Not this year. I feel like they're really taking it to the teams they should beat this year, which is probably why they're at 500 at 22-22.
Right.
But they have not played the Yankees yet, who are legit, even without their best pitcher. And they've only played the Orioles in 3 games, and they got swept at home. You said they're 1-7, which is true. They're 1-7 at Fenway Park against the AL East. They have played no road games.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at this. Sorry, I got sidetracked a little bit. Looking at the Phillies schedule here. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Braves, and then Reds, Nationals, Cardinals, Pirates, Rockies, White Sox, Reds, Padres, Angels, Giants. Oh, okay. Okay. Texas coming up. All right. It does. I'm looking at it. Does it ever flip for him? Jeez.
Well, there's a lot of parity right now. I mean, right now, the Dodgers have a 7-game lead in the NL West, and the Padres are in second at 22-24. So there isn't a lot of above 500 teams to go around right now.
Yeah, it's like the best teams buy up all the best players, and then
Usually. Usually.
Uh, so back to the Red Sox. Not great
Yes.
at home and all this. And just in general, Jack, you alluded to this in one of the games, I think like the first or second game against the series, in the series against Tampa Bay. Do you know because I put it in the rundown. But collective, did you know that after this series since 2015, so that's 10 years, the Red Sox are 71 and 89 against the Rays?
Yeah.
They
Uh, yep.
in those glory years of the early 2000s, and obviously the Rays have flipped it. They figured out how to run a team with no money in an empty, disgusting stadium. But they played the Rays 19 times and were winning like 15 games.
Yeah. Um, I think that's before the like there was a point where it was probably 2015. I don't know when it like kind of early in David Price's career where the Rays just got like they legitimized like overnight.
Yeah.
Longoria and Price were there. That really that 162 season, game 162.
Well, in
And since
'08 they went to the World Series.
right. And then like so but they weren't but they were like still kind of like wow, the Rays are in the World Series. That's strange. Um
Yeah.
but now I mean they're they compete in the AL East every year. And it's kind of been a flip. And interestingly enough, the flip has been like the Red Sox have started front office wise playing Tampa Bay's game or Tampa's game where they want to be big on analytics. They're not spending as much money on big free agents and they're trying to win by developing their own players. The only difference is the Rays have done it successfully and keep finding these guys and little signings like Pete Fairbanks or something like that, who just comes in and gives you absolutely lockdown late inning bullpen innings. Um, and guys like that, where the Red Sox just haven't had the luck or has had the luck in like we brought Adam Duvall in on a team friendly contract. And I don't know if you've ever heard Dave O'Brien say this, but he had a very hot opening week last year. So it's just not the same luck of like getting these guys to either stay healthy or produce the entire season like the Rays have had.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just such a it's like that it's still hard for my tiny brain to wrap around the fact that it's the Rays. And but I
I
mean,
definitely don't
they
see him like that anymore. I see him as like
no.
exactly what they are, which is an annoying 3 or 4 game series where there's going to be very little blowouts and everything is going to be close and it's going to come down to a few plays. And it just seems like over the past 5 seasons, especially, like they're the ones making the big play at the end of the game or getting a big hit. Like that inning against Jansen last night. I was mostly done with 2 outs, and it was just like, oh, there's a double off the wall, or it was 1 out. There was a double off the wall, and then a deep fly to center, and then all of a sudden they're down 2 runs. Like, and that's like the Tampa Bay way. They don't have anybody there that's going to hit 30 or 40 home runs. Maybe Yandy Diaz might hit 30, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and Moreno's not even playing well. I know
No.
this because he was my third round fantasy pick and he's been on my bench for like 2 weeks. He's not doing well. So yeah, they're they're an interesting team, and every year, I mean, I picked them to win the AL East. I don't think that's going to happen, but they could just get hot. They're Shane Baz hasn't been pitching. McClanahan's is he out for the
Oh,
year?
yeah, he's still out. Yeah.
But don't you when you see that the Rays have brought up a young good pitcher, I just assume that he throws 98 and has a nasty secondary pitch.
And it's a lefty.
Yeah, or like um what he pitched the other Taj Bradley. He just came back
Yep.
and he's just like, "Oh, this guy's awesome." He does
The number
exactly
one pick,
that.
wasn't he?
What? I don't know.
Oh no, he was a
Uh,
fifth round pick. I think he was a number one prospect. Maybe that's what it is.
but yeah, they're just. I honestly, I think for them, can can you guys just move to a different location?
I don't
Like
I don't know if that'll ever happen, Tom. I just don't
I
know.
know, but like them and the Marlins, like what the crowds don't care. The Rays were in the playoffs last year and had an empty stadium. It's just like they're never gonna take off nationally and be like they started 13-0 last year and it was like, wow, the Rays are hot if you followed baseball. But that should be a bigger story. If that was the Dodgers,
Right.
it's just I've been to the Trop
Yeah,
and it's
so have
not good.
I. It's gross in there. Like you said, it feels like it's a warehouse that they put a baseball field in.
Yeah.
Like
And
if you have a college, Syracuse University, I don't know if they still do it, but they had the Carrier Dome where they would play their football games, and then they would close off like 2/3 of it to play basketball in there.
I
And
think
it
they
was
still do
like,
that. Yeah.
build an arena. The college must
Yeah.
have some money.
I mean, we could ask Andy. He went there. They
Donate,
took a
yeah, an
good chunk of
alumnus.
money from
He's
him.
listening. Yeah.
We went there once. Very gothic is what I remember.
I remember a diner we went to. That's about it.
I remember watching Ken Burns baseball,
That makes sense.
but we move on to Jack. They played 44 games, the Boston Red Sox have, and they have 34 errors. Not a one a game pace, but still pretty high.
No, it is high. However, it should be noted that over the last 20 games, that has been severely reduced. They have been playing a lot cleaner brand of baseball over the last like 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So it hasn't translated into wins, especially in May. Uh, but it is noticeable that they're playing cleaner baseball. Even Raffy Devers looks like he's picking it up pretty clean, but it is bad. They are still fundamentally unsound sometimes. Like a couple of nights ago, it was bad luck, but didn't somebody get picked off a second on a line drive back to like right to second base? I think it was a
Yeah.
line drive to Palacios, and the runner, it wasn't even like he froze. He took two giant steps towards third base and
Hmm.
just couldn't get back. But um, yeah, I don't, fundamentally, they are not looking. Uh, I keep saying this like an Alex Cora coach team, but I
Well,
mean
maybe they
it's
are.
the last 2 years. Yeah, the last 2 years they have looked like this. They run themselves into outs. They did that their World Series run year. They ran into
Oh,
outs.
the running into outs is it's gonna end me. There, I mean, that actually has died down. Now it's they can't catch it. And
Yeah, it's one of the two.
the like how long is this leash of Devers at third? I love Devers. And if
Yeah.
they could stick him at DH and work around that, he dropped Connor Wong put a ball on the base during a for a steal and Devers just dropped it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is they have too many bats. Well, the problem in this regard is they have too many bats and not enough fielding positions.
Yeah.
Like I know Garrett Cooper and Dom Smith aren't long-term plans, but like that's two first basemen right there that are trying to take up the spot that Casas left. I don't know that they have another third baseman on the roster. They could patch it together. I mean, the other night, that I think it was the same game that I was talking about. Or no, maybe this was the one that Romy Gonzalez won. Romy Gonzalez was playing first. Um, it, God damn, I can't remember the three that they had, but basically all three of their shortstops were in the infield playing different positions.
Yeah. Grissom at second,
Yeah,
Gonzalez
the
at
only
first, and then Rafaela at Short.
Yeah, who was playing third though? There was somebody else playing third because Devers got double switched for. So
Oh,
there were
Connor
three.
Wong.
It was Connor
Didn't
Wong?
didn't Connor Wong get switched? No.
No, he was the only catcher left because they had subbed Reese
Oh,
McGuire.
right. Yeah,
Either
yeah, yeah,
way,
yeah.
I can't think of the other shortstop on the roster right now. Um, it's David Hamilton.
Could be. We should know this stuff. We have this
Yeah.
podcast.
Either way, I don't think they have a third baseman to take over that full-time spot. And who knows? Like I think you brought it up a couple of weeks ago. It could be in his contract that he has to play third base for X amount of seasons.
Yeah, or he
Which is
said
ridiculous.
I expect to, and I just signed a 10-year, $300 million contract. It's just it's out there. It's known. There was like a brief moment at the beginning of 2021 where people talked about he's improved, he's worked on it, he's gotten better. He worked with Xander Bogaerts. They both got better. Xander Bogaerts plays second base for a different team, and Devers, it's just he hasn't gotten better at playing third base.
No. Um, in what I mean, I know we're talking about defense right now, but it's also noticeable that without Casas hitting behind him, he is just not seeing pitches. The thing you tweeted last night where he hit that ball 408 feet,
Mm-hmm.
um, he also hit it 110 miles an hour, which is insane for it was at his ankles. But uh he he has to go out of the zone to get a pitch that he likes to hit because nobody is throwing him a strike right now. Because why would you? Let Jaron Duran and Wilyer Abreu beat you if you're any other pitcher.
Luckily, the thing about Devers is it doesn't have to be a strike
No, he's a real Vlad Guerrero type in that
because
regard.
he
He
hit
will
another
go
one
down and get it.
yesterday where it was outside and he just took it over the monster.
It
It's
is, I think, what's getting lost in here, and he's become, let's see, 27?
yeah.
Yeah, 27. In his age 27 season, like the next 3 years of his career should technically be his physical prime in terms of baseball. He has molded himself into, and I know I'm a homer, one of the better all around hitters in the league now. I mean,
I mean, he was the
it,
silver slugger for third base last year.
yeah. I mean, he's got a multiple, so two silver sluggers at third, which is a
Yeah.
historically very powerful position in the American League. But I mean, his on base percentage is a career 345. He's at 390 this season. Like the RBIs aren't there like they usually are there, and his hits really aren't there. But he is just showing such an overall better approach at the plate. It is
Oh, yeah, he's slugging
remarkably, yeah,
512.
remarkably better to watch him bat this year than in previous years. And it was really fun the last couple of years because he is so strong that, like you said, he just flips balls to center and left field that look effortless. He didn't even look like he swung that hard for his 110 mile an hour. What would you consider that? A frozen rope that got out like an inch
It
over the
was on a
wall?
line. Yeah, it was the um front row first or second row dead center, but it like was barely above that wall, which is what, 25 feet high if the monster's 37. That's
Yeah, it was like 2, 3 feet above that max. And it must have not slowed down. Whoever that hit in the first two rows must have had some kind of mark on their body because that was a rocket. Um,
yeah, the he's definitely like the numbers are there. He's still striking out. No, he's striking out. Oh no, wait. Yeah. He's striking out more actually, but walking his previous career high in was walk rate was 9.5 and he's at 13% this year. His WOBA, which is a new stat I'm getting into, is 392, which is he's 52% better, or sorry, 51% better than league average this year. His WRC plus is 151. Still hits the shit out of the ball. It's more the defense that's killing me. And I know they're in a
Yeah.
tough spot right now, but I am just a true believer in put Rafaela in center and just leave him. He's made some errors at short.
100%. And he doesn't throw the ball well from short. He has a
Yeah,
tough time moving his feet to throw the ball like either sidearm or three quarter to get that kind of like two seamer action when you're going away. Like
yeah. Who does he think he is?
it,
Nomar?
well, dude, to tell you the truth, I don't think I've seen many people do it better than Trevor Story. When he is moving,
No,
you
he's
can
awesome.
expect a strike to first base. Like he never has a bad throw or something off. Um, and it's like it's glaring how bad the defense got overnight after he got hurt. But the Devers thing, I don't know what age David Ortiz moved into a full-time DH role, but you know that put extra years on his career. It definitely extended his career, and it made him just concentrate on becoming a 500 home run hitter. Just pull the trigger and move him over there. There's no such thing as the National League lineup anymore. Just throw him out there because I don't know what his defensive runs saved are this year. And I do have baseball reference up right now. Let me see. Standard feeling. Yeah, I can't find it. Either way.
Jack. Um, Devers DSR right now is -4. DRS.
Okay. So that's playing right into the point I'm making. You could pluck anybody from Worcester that plays third base or has experience playing third base, and it would be better than that.
And just for the David Ortiz had a career high 45 appearances at first base in 2003. That dropped to 34 in '04, and then by 20 or 2005 he never reached double digits after 2007, I should say. 2005 and 2006 he had 10 appearances at first. So,
There you go.
yeah. I there's nothing people sleep on '07 to like 2011 Uke.
Didn't
He
he win a
was
Hank Aaron
so,
award?
yeah, he was so good. So good those years. When he had his prime years, um yeah, like '06 to 2010. He was third in MVP voting in '08, sixth in '09, but in 2007 he was hotter than hot in the ALCS and in the start of the World Series. And people said, well, do you play Uke at first base or do you play David Ortiz? And the whole time I was like, you play David Ortiz. You take the
Yeah.
chances with the defense because you need 4 Ortiz at bats and then put Uke in as a defensive replacement. If he has to hit, it's not a terrible drop off. But that was the only time you ever needed Ortiz in the field, and that doesn't exist anymore, like you said. So
And I think in both of those World Series, he made defensive plays that either ended an inning and stopped momentum or saved a run.
you got
Um,
Suppan.
I saw Jeff Supan's debut in my first ever Red Sox game.
So the one thing
And
is some players, because this is a thing they've talked about with Trout, they don't like being disengaged from the game by DHing.
I get that.
But I'm sorry, you have a young, very talented first baseman, so you're not going to put him there.
Mhm.
And I think we're just getting to the time where the conversation needs to be had. And maybe this season they'll play it out. They'll be 500 because they played 44 games and they're 22 and 22.
Right
Just
on the
seems
pain.
like that's going to be the theme of the year. And then they really discuss it in the offseason like, okay, we're going to move on from Yoshida because that seems like an albatross of a contract right now.
It
Um,
does, but at the same time, Yoshida has improved before he got hurt. I mean, he's back up to like 270 right now. He's improved defensively. He's a real liability.
Yeah.
And I've never seen an outfielder or somebody who's listed as an outfielder run that slowly. He
Oh
does
man.
not move.
Last year they
Is his
kept
pants
talking
too
about
high?
his
Are his pants too high?
I don't they last year they kept talking about his perfect running form and I was like, "But are you seeing how slow it is?"
Yeah, it's a slow motion, perfect running form.
Like Tim could have perfect running
No,
motion, but he
no, he
would
couldn't.
still be slow. He actually couldn't. He kind of runs
Actually,
like a penguin.
he does run like a penguin, but a very fast penguin. Because I ran a 5K with him in Boston, and I'm gonna tell you what, he just puts his head down and he just
Yeah, he's got you. Even yeah, he has both of us in distance,
yeah.
but
You think he could beat him on a short track?
I think I could. I think I might get him there. Uh
Like a bermer, if they had to do a bermer, you think you could get him?
yeah, just because there's speed involved. He's more of a slow and steady wins the race, but he's a little above slow. He's just steady when he runs a
Yeah,
distance thing.
exactly. Well, yeah, okay. That's a good way to put it. Um, Johnny, after every game in the T-ball sphere, they do a lap around. And the first practice, I joked with Jared, I'm like, should we make him run a bermer? Like,
Yes. Well, that was the worst.
5 and 6 year olds got a lot of energy to burn off.
Yeah, just make him do a lap around the entire manor. Uh, that's all. I mean, that's all I got for Red Sox stuff.
I
We
have
could.
one more thing on the Red Sox, and it's
Hmm.
just going to be a quick one, but it may warrant on another conversation if the trend continues. Um, the starting pitching is starting to come back to earth a
Yeah,
little bit. I don't think it's going to get out of hand. I don't think they're going to be all of a sudden giving up 4.5 runs a game. Um, but you can tell that like Connor Crawford's starting to get hit a little harder. Um, Hauk's still good, but I don't like that he threw his career high in pitches in 5 2/3 inning. Like he kind
yeah,
of moved away from throwing strikes. But yeah, and Pavetta came back. His second start was a lot better than his first. And Whitlock started for Worcester a couple of days ago, so he's on the way back. But I think it's coming back down to earth. And the bullpen is starting to get a little wonky.
yeah, yeah. That. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you kind of had to expect it a little bit with the pitching. Um, I've completely forgotten how to do game logs on Fangraphs here, but
What are
yeah.
you looking for?
Although I feel like a couple times they got burned by their defense this past week.
Yeah, I don't
Where
think anything was unearned though. I mean, listen, Tanner Houck is still 3-5 with a 2.17 ERA. So we're not scoring any runs. They're not scoring any runs for him. Um, and he's got 58 innings pitched with 57 strikeouts. Still an incredible. I mean, he's looking to be an all-star, right? He's got an all-star season put together so far. Um, I just hope he stays healthy the whole time. And at this point, now looking at his 37% win-loss record, like get him some offensive support. That's the other thing we didn't really touch on. I know I said they strike out a lot. They haven't really been scoring a lot of runs in May, with the
yeah,
exception of maybe one or two games like this. And it goes back to Casas not being there. But, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody, but Duran, Connor Wong, Wilyer Abreu, and Devers is not that intimidating of a first four to go through. And Wilyer Abreu could win the Rookie of the Year if guys like Colton Cowser didn't exist, but
yeah.
uh, it's tough right now. It's tough going to watch this
Well,
lineup strike out 9 to 14 times every night.
yeah. I think things might start coming out that not like Jaron Duran stats might start leaning towards maybe not playing him against lefties Sale made him look so bad.
Yeah, I think Sale was super. Sale is a Cy Young caliber pitcher at his best. And I just think that he was super jacked up in a good way for that game. I think he had his A plus stuff that day. And Sale's A plus
Yeah.
stuff is better than other guys' A plus stuff.
Yeah. I just think like Duran in the past 2 or 3 games has started to get hot again. That might be him. He might just be an up
Yeah.
and down guy.
Yeah. No,
Abreu's
yeah.
the problem is it's three lefties in Connor Wong. And I
Well,
like
there's
Wong, but
Tyceps is in there too, but Tyceps, talk about coming back down to earth. He
yeah.
has one home run in May, and um, he still has like a very low amount of RBIs. What does he have? He's got 16 RBIs on 10 homers. He's not hitting anything outside of big shots over the monster,
Yeah, solo shots.
which are sexy, but
Sure.
oh, he ripped a 3-run homer in the first inning of a game the other day, but that was the only offense for the day. So,
Yeah.
I'd like to see they have to add somebody, Tom. They have to add somebody. And at this point, I don't care if that person that you're adding is named Kyle Teal or Roman Anthony or Marcelo Mayer. Inject some life into the lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not looking good with like you still have all your games against the Yankees and then all but 3 against the Orioles. They're gonna play the Braves again soon. Again, and luckily another 2-game
2-game
series.
series, yeah.
Um, they'll play the Cubs again, Jack, and hopefully they don't have to face Shota Imanaga because holy shit.
Yeah, he was pro ready.
Today is today is May 17th, my friend Jason Feldman's birthday. And
Ooh.
Shota Imanaga's ERA is under 1.
Yeah. He has in his rookie campaign here. He's a little bit older on the rookie, played pro in Japan for a while. He's 30, coming into the majors for his first season for the Cubs. 5-0 with a 0.96 ERA, 51 strikeouts in 46 innings, and a 2.5 wins above replacement. Straight dealing, Tom. Straight dealing.
Yeah, he's had 5 appearances where he has not given up a run.
Yeah, he is
He
everything
didn't give
about
up a
him,
run till his 4th start in the majors.
which obviously he came in uh definitely in the shadow of Yamamoto,
Mm-hmm.
who also has been putting together a pretty solid rookie campaign. Um, but this dude looks like and there he's going up like with Justin Steele. Who wants to face Shota and Steele in a 5-game series?
Yeah, and the Cubs are they in they're 2 games out of the Brewers, but
They'll be
still,
there. They'll be
yeah,
there all year.
still too early.
5 games over 500. I mean, it's still too early for like a couple of teams, and then you look at like the Marlins. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, he's nasty. Speaking of the Cubs and nasty pitchers, mark your calendars, everybody. 2:20 p.m. Eastern today. Paul Skeen's second start in the majors over at the historic Wrigley Field.
Hopefully the wind's blown in. But yeah, he was good. He was good. He um there's an
Oh,
adjustment between
one day.
AAA and the majors.
One day between Paul. It could have been Paul Skeens versus Shota. That would
Yeah,
have
that
been a
would have been
nice one.
sweet. But yeah, like you mentioned, Imanaga was kind of like, oh yeah, he's coming to the US too. He's good. That kind of stuff. But this is ridiculous through
Yeah.
8 games.
So I feel like there's going to be a trend here, and I don't know if it's related to Shohei. I don't know if it's related to the World Baseball Classic, but it feels like the caliber of player that's coming over from Japan is like greatly improved than when Matsui and Ichiro came, and it's just like, oh, these are the first two Japanese hitters to play. I think now it's coming back to like these guys are all pro ready, and with this dude who's going to be a free agent next year, Roki Sasaki, he's 20 years old and throws 102 regularly. Like he's going to make some
Yeah.
serious waves next year.
It's not surprising if like this starts like has opened a door with the caliber of player we're seeing now that's like obviously Latin American players have been awesome for a long time. But it's almost like what's happening with European basketball players where it's like, "Oh shit. Now the three best players in the NBA are probably from Europe." And then you look at Major League Baseball. Oh, he gave a little eye twitch.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I mean,
Okay,
I
well,
can
okay, who would you say?
willing to have that argument with you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, hold on. Now I'm
Yeah,
just thinking.
We'll save that for another podcast. But
Could you tell me
Joker
who's
and Luca are probably two of the top three.
okay.
Um, I'd put fuck man, probably Ann Edwards in there as dynamic
So
as he can be right now. I
over
know there's
Giannis
I don't understand the hate. Jason Tatum is there over Giannis. Yeah, over Giannis.
on Tecumpo from Greece.
Yeah, no, I know. You think Giannis is better than Ant-Man and Tatum?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I still think Kevin Durant is among the top 5 players in the NBA as well.
Now this isn't okay, so this isn't Europe, but Joel Embiid is from Africa. So that's
Okay.
so not Europe. But I'm just saying the top three NBA players may not be American. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Canadian. But back to this. Yes. So that's what I would equate it to is the all of a sudden being like, wow, two of the best players, three of the best players in baseball are now from Japan. When did that happen?
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, it's also like, and I know it's different, but Young Hoo Lee coming from Korea
yeah,
is off to a slow, like offensively a slow start. I mean, plays a magnificent outfield.
yeah.
So it's fun. I mean, Jung Hoo Lee, like when the Red Sox played the Giants, he like stood out. Like that's a dude to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a shoulder injury now, so I don't know if he's like is he going to be like just like an on base no power guy because he has two home runs, but it could just be the adjustments.
Yeah, I
But
think he'll
it
get
says
there.
he's been diagnosed with structural damage in his left shoulder, so he might be
That
out
sucks.
for a bit. That happened 2 days ago. Uh okay, Jack. It's time. I don't want to do it. This is the Jerry Seinfeld, Kenny Banya. Oh, I'm gonna puke segment. The Yankees are really good, and I don't like it.
All right.
And I'm good.
Well, it's been said. Let's move on.
But holy shit, Aaron Judge.
I
We
was
knew what
just,
it, Juan
their
Soto.
outfield is Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and sometimes Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton, excuse me. Like all they do is rip the cover off the baseball. I don't the Red Sox not making any move with the package that got Juan Soto is going to go down, not as big as Mookie, obviously, but definitely as a huge missed opportunity. Especially,
Especially
yeah, go ahead and say it because we're going to say the
if
same
they
thing.
sign him.
If they re-fucking sign him, Tom, if he
And
loves New York, and God forbid they win a goddamn World Series, he's going
yeah,
to
and
re-sign there.
Mark Feinstein had an article on MLB.com yesterday where Hal Steinbrenner, who let's just put it out there, not his dad, not as effective, probably hanging on to his GM a tad too long, and
Would say the same
He
thing
has
about a
said
stat in that regard.
Juan Soto is generational. I know Scott Boras doesn't like to take guys, give them extensions, especially this close to free agency. But he said we have to at least have that conversation with them. And he said words like, keep him a Yankee the rest of his career and all that.
25.
And
He's
I
25.
now I'm just doing a prayer circle that he gets the free agency and someone comes with a $500 million offer that the Yankees
Well,
won't give
Tom,
him.
I think it's going to be six. It's going to be in the 600 area nowadays.
Well,
Um,
that's what this year, that's why I think he's going to be the MVP because he's going to earn an extra $100 million if he wins
yeah.
an MVP.
When we talk about Juan Soto, he's probably our second most talked about person on this podcast. Um, just because, again, 25 years old. His career on base percentage is 420. He is on base 42% of the time. That is incredible. Just this week, he set the record for most walks by a 25-year-old player or younger, passing Mickey Mantle, Mel Ott, Ted Williams, basically an entire wing of the Hall of Fame.
He, it's, he's the, other than astronomically high batting average, he's the modern day Ted Williams in his approach.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm not going to swing at a ball. If you're going to walk me, you're going to walk me. Fine.
Yeah,
It,
I mean,
the
he
thing I hate the
is
most is he's one of my favorite non-Red Sox, and now he plays on the Yankees. Yeah, I should even put the caveat non-Red Sox. He's just one of my favorite players.
right. Absolutely. And that, I mean, I feel the same way about Aaron Judge, who right now you could cook an egg on his bat, how hot it is. Um, like the that's the big
You
thing
don't even
too. Is
like
like
eggs.
I love eggs. I've come around on that. But I mean, the my favorite one Soto stat is he played in 162 games last year. The Yankees have played 45 games this year, and he's played in all 45. He's going to be out
Yep.
there for four at bats every day. And those are
Mm-hmm.
four very, very good at bats.
He already has 4 steals too. Um,
God, I wanted to add something to the rundown. Speaking of steals,
I know who you're talking about. We talked about him last week.
yeah, I mean, he's already got
So
30.
Jack, we talked about Shota Imanaga.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The Not to mention that the Yankees very slowly are working Garrett Cole back, so that's just extra
No rush.
salt in
There's
the
no
wound.
rush right now. Like they're
Yeah.
in the position they're in right now. If they continue this, obviously, if they continue this, they'll win the AL East. But if they even keep up half this pace, they're going to be the wild card team. They're clearly, with the exception of maybe Baltimore, they're clearly the best team in the American League.
So, do you know? All right, what is the Yankees closer Clay Holmes ERA? Don't look it up. This is just pop quiz.
It's low. When I did my pitcher power rankings, available on neverwheres.com, I wanted to put one reliever in there, and the representative for the reliever delegation by a mile would have been Clay Holmes. I'm going to say it's 0.00.
That is correct. He has not given up a run yet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I mean, as a
You're
pitcher,
not going to blow saves if you don't give up runs.
Tom's wearing a WSU hat where he pitched. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Tom. As a pitcher, pretty much the goal is to not allow the other team to score.
Yes, that's a fact.
Okay. So
I feel like I
0.00.
didn't get enough opportunities at Worcester State to do that, but that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's actually why it's called the Never Wers.
Precisely, actually.
And when your ERA, earned run average for the layman, is at 0.00. That means no opposing batters have scored a run, which makes it, like you said, difficult to blow a save, difficult to come back on a team. Um, Downright impossible to beat them when they have a lead.
He's striking out 10 guys per nine. It's just you have to beat the Yankees by you have you beat them by getting to their starting pitcher early and then holding off their offense.
Yep.
I mean,
Which
I'm
when you
actually
said
like I can't wait
when
for
you
the Yankees and Orioles to play
I
because
know
those will be good games.
when you said the other day or earlier today, it's three lefties and Connor Wong. Like that is not the same balance on the Yankees. Volpe, like even Anthony Volpe, who won
Him
a Gold
becoming
Glove
good
last
after
year.
not being great last year when it was like, okay, they missed on this guy. Nope,
No,
psych. It's the
he's got
worst.
he's got six leadoff homers and plays Gold Glove at the most important position on the field.
Ugh. It's exactly what us as Red Sox fans didn't need. We
Yeah, oh
could have
yeah,
just been
and
like,
Tom,
he didn't work out, he didn't pan out. The Yankee fans are gonna destroy him. Great.
he he is not even
Shane
their
Spencer.
most highly touted prospect. I mean,
I know.
Yasan Dominguez is on his way back.
It's
Their
just
outfield is going to be Dominguez, Juan Soto, and Aaron Judge, and Stanton's going to hit DH. They're going to spell Dominguez in his first full year or first half year, whenever he comes back, with Verdugo, who, why wouldn't he be having another solid, at least above average season?
it it's just it makes me want to move on, which we're gonna do. To the final thing on the rundown. Have you seen Heaven is a Place on Earth in Seattle?
No, and I was very, very confused with your putting it on the rundown.
So in between, I don't know what inning in Seattle, they blast the song Heaven is a Place on Earth. You familiar with it?
Yeah. Oh, baby. What comes first?
Correct.
Love comes first.
And they drop hot dogs attached to parachutes into the stands. That is happening
I
at
have not
Seattle
seen this.
Mariners games on a nightly basis.
That is the best.
So we I should have done the weekend preview ahead of time, but it's probably just going to be Paul Skeens and the Celtics don't play till Tuesday because ho hum, the Celtics are in the Eastern Conference Finals again. Uh ooh Ellie De La Cruz is going to do stuff against the Dodgers. Mariners Orioles is a good one.
Oh,
Other
we're
than
on
that,
schedule now?
though,
Okay. Oh,
not a
Mariners
lot of good
Orioles are
series.
good. Although it's going to be in Baltimore, so no glizzy bombs. Cole Reagan's pitching tonight, 7:40. Um,
Uh,
we didn't talk about them playing the Cardinals. Um, a fun matchup that you don't get to see all the time. Well, I guess you do now with playing every year. Um, but the Cardinals are real bottom feeders. They should win two of three games.
yeah, Cardinals aren't good.
No, I'm looking for pitching matchups here. I saw a couple
Imanaga's
that I
going
wanted to see.
tomorrow.
Yep, we talked on that. And then wow, I don't really have anything. I mean, I'm always gonna watch Hunter Green pitch just because he still lights up a radar gun. We should develop a second pitch, Tom. Tarek Skubal, um, he's a great pitcher. And as I mentioned earlier, the Dodgers are already red hot. They're already 7 games up on their division.
Yeah.
Like, and the Rockies have won like 6 or 7 in a row. But hey, yeah, I would say that I like the Reds and the Dodgers. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to see Ellie De La Cruz play.
He's had
In that,
awesome numbers against the
my
Dodgers so
goodness,
far.
Tom. I wanted to text you this, but I thought I'll just save it for the pod, which is a fun thing you always say. Um, Shohei Ohtani is back to being uh just a monster whenever let me give you his last 15 games. He is hitting 386 with a 470 on base percentage. Last 15 games in 57 at bats. He has 22 hits, 5 homers, 12 RBIs, 6 steals. He does everything. He's legitimately a 5-tool player, and he doesn't play defense.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. He just hits.
Basically, yeah, it's an obligatory Shohei Ohtani appreciation blast.
Yep. It's
If
just
you're up late,
ridiculous.
if you are up late, flip on a Dodgers game. Watch a couple of at bats. Because if you're watching a couple of at bats, you're going to watch it go Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman. And I know we talked about it all offseason. It's really incredible to watch that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, just the other day, I was watching the recap of a game, and they were Shohei was up with a chance to be like he was the tying runner, and then he walked, I believe, and then I was like, oh, now Freddie Freeman's up. Freeman ended up grounding out, but it's like, what do you do with this?
Mm-hmm.
It's in between Glass now and Yamamoto, Bueller coming back. It's if they can stay healthy, it's it's just almost going to be like a cakewalk for him.
It definitely is. Um, yeah, I mean, and I don't want anybody to get hurt, but like they'd have to have a ton of injuries. That'd be a factor.
Yeah,
Um, Ohtani is leading the major leagues in batting average with 360.
it's it's nothing to say. I mean, he's ridiculous. Um, Jack, we got to go, and heaven is a place on earth. So have yourself a hot dog today.
I might have hot dogs for lunch.
There you go. All right, Jack.
Actually, when Johnny gets home from school, I might just throw hot dogs while playing that song off the back deck at him.
There you go. Take him to a hot dog. Take him to the hot dog guy in the center of Boylston, or in the
Christy?
140/70 light.
Christos?
Yeah.
No.
All right, Jack.
Bye
Bye.
bye.